is showing us. We are live finally. Thank you for your patience. We will drink lots of wine together now. So we are on, like I was saying before, we're on Learning to Flight. Welcome back after a large, long hiatus. My name is Jessica Arkwright, and my partner over here is Ramon Polteret. So, oh, yeah, I guess I'll put my mic back on. All these things I'm forgetting to do. And yeah, exactly. So we are taking you to California today, and we are going to start out very, very far north California. This is Populous is the wine company. I don't necessarily want to call them a winery because they're not a traditional winery. This is a project, a label, a collaboration really between two friends who grew up together and went to high school together. And then they both ended up getting into wine and studying wine and going across the pond, and they made wine. I don't remember where each of them, but I know one of them went to Australia, I think, and New Zealand, and the other one went to France and Spain, and I think another one of them also went to South America as well. But I could also be wrong because I don't remember exactly. Either way, everything that they did and all of the wineries that they worked for gave them the experience, and they wanted to eventually go back to California, and so that's what they did. So they moved back to California, and then they started their winery. I want to say that it was in like 2014 or something like that they started. I don't have those notes, of course, on here, but this is Shant and Diego are the two gentlemen that I'm talking about, and this is Populous. And they make two lines of wine, basically. They do their Le Lunas and they do their Populous. The Populous is more kind of their I want to say, like, not necessarily entry level or table wines, but kind of more of like your social appetizer. You don't need food with them necessarily, but they go great with food. They're Rhone varietal inspired, but they're not getting as geeky as they get when they do the Le Lunas. So with the Le Lunas, they're usually just kind of doing longer maceration times. This one to me is kind of like their shorter version of it, I guess I would say. So this is a blend of 58% Chardonnay, 17% Sauvignon Blanc, 15% French Colombard, 5% Pinot Blanc, and 5% Muscat. So, and this is made in Sonoma, which is also Mendocino County. So that is where, like I said, we are pretty high up. If you look at our little map, we're way up here, and then we're going to continue down, and we're going to continue down. So that's going to be our travels that we're going to take you through today.
It's a warm variety. It's also two of the grapes are most used in Bordeaux.
Yeah.
Which is a Colombard and
that's
Muscat.
True. Yeah, that's true.
So
well, it's French.
Yeah,
they love their French varietals. And I want to say that, but they both spent in France, and that's really where they kind of fell in love with more of I would say, like an old school. This is more of an old school traditional way of winemaking, but it's a clean way of winemaking. And really, what they learned when they were over in France was it really matters where you get your grapes from. And so one of the things that they really pride themselves on is that they actually farm their own vines themselves. So they actually go to the farmers that own these vineyards, basically, and they're more run like farms than they are like a winery that you would see in Napa, which is much more large production. I would say this is definitely not that. This is the opposite. This is minuscule micro production. It's super lean as far as the winemaking production goes. This is as minimal intervention as you could get, low intervention as you could get. They use all native yeasts. They don't fine and they don't filter. So you're going to see that it's pretty cloudy in the glass. They also only put, I want to say, less than 16 milligrams per liter of sulfur. So it's also a very low sulfur wine. There's a little bit of to it, in my opinion, when you first taste it, that kind of like gets you right on the tip of your tongue. And it kind of has to me like a lot of apple to it. It's almost like apple and like lemon together or something. Almost like a kombucha. A little bit, like it's got a little bit of that like kombucha effervescence, which you're gonna find in a natural wine. So, and that's kind of the fun. This is also, I want to point out that this is a 2021 vintage. So, and this is their Wabi Sabi, and they named it Wabi Sabi because it is an ode to the Japanese saying that basically that there is the imperfection. What is it? They said it was the imperfect perfection. So it's basically saying how sometimes it is the imperfections that makes something actually more beautiful and more perfect. And so that is what this is. They kind of in that same philosophy, an ode to it. So let's taste it. And we paired this.
Yeah. With walnut cheese, which is made by Sasquatchy Creamery, which is a coincidence maybe, but the two people that run that creamery have done about the same thing that the people that do the wine. They went to France, they learned how to make cheese in Savoie, in the Jura region, and they make this cheese. It's like a kind of an homage to Reblochon, which is the cheese from Savoie that you use for just about everything there for cooking. But it's a wash wine cheese. It's made from pasteurized milk. It's usually very creamy. The wine is a little it's been a wash wine, so that's give it a little bit of funkiness to it. And they came back from France, but didn't go as far as the California people. They stopped in Tennessee by Chattanooga, and they are in the mountain there outside there. And basically, they use the same process that is used in the Alps with the cows. Is again grazing in the hills, and they give you a real rich flavorful milk. And that's what helped the cheese getting all that buttery and beautiful flavor. So it's more artisanal type of cheese, which is made just in small, in small creamery. They make a few other cheese from the same region too. They make a tome, like the tome de Savoie. They make cheese that is like a Morbier with the ashes in the middle. So there's a real good cheese. I hope you enjoy that one.
I love this one. When you taste the wine first, and then you taste the cheese, and then you taste the wine again. I love how it just popped the cheese out so much and popped the wine back out. And so that's always like, whenever you have like a plus, you're like, yay! A fun good pairing. I thought that the wine that fruit in the wine brought out the funkiness and the rind of the cheese in a good way. Sometimes, sometimes the funkiness of the rinds of the washed rind cheeses can get too funky, but this goes really nice when you have like a good funky and a good funky together. It's good
For a
funky.
Frenchman, it's never too.
I know for you. Do we have any questions yet?
No, what was the cheese again? I'm sorry.
You know what? I forgot to grab them too.
That's what I was
Can
wondering.
you do me a huge favor? Can you grab them? They're all in the cooler right over there. And then I can also show you what they look like packaged. I put them on your handout. You have a picture of each of them because I took pictures of all of these today. We kind of had some last minute changes, but we are used to that.
And this kind of cheese,
So we just roll with the flow.
This
Go with
kind
the flow and roll with the punches.
This kind of cheese in France is used in a very famous dish in the area of Savoie there, which is called tartiflette. And it's basically, that would be like the answer to a scallop potato. It's made in the, but inside of it there is, they put sausage too, and then they put 2 layers of that cheese and put it in the oven. So it's a little bit funkier than your scallop potato. And it's very traditional to eat that, but in the winter. It's a cheese that melts real nice too. And give a lot of flavor to the potatoes.
I didn't try it last time with the honey, but I'm gonna try it now. Drizzle of honey. I don't know if you guys have a honey jar, or if Daniel will share with, yeah.
What do you
Daniel-
need?
I don't think that they got given a honey jar, but if you guys, if you like, if you can, if you wanna, if you can share your honey with them, if you don't mind sharing them, they might appreciate that. I can try and pass it, but I don't quite have Go-Go Gadget arms yet.
It's the cheese.
Bill and Todd have any questions?
I've got my
Say
fingers.
that again.
Are there any comments or questions?
No, you can't see them here, so I'm gonna log back in here.
You just go to the upper right, it says comments, remember?
Yeah, but I don't see what other people are seeing. If they have. I've been just kind of making some comments, little comments about the wine.
So we sell this here, this is like we were saying, this is a 7 ounce basically. I like how they write Walden, gentle frills. And yeah, this is a 7 ounce wheel basically, which really, I mean, the way that I would probably serve this at home would just be like, honestly, just stick a knife in it, you know, like you don't need to, with some breeds, I'll remove the top layer and then stick a spoon in it, have to go spoon out. You could do that with this, but I don't really feel that you need to yet. I think if it continued to age and became more breed-like, because it will get firmer, then you might need to eventually do that. But that's really when you wanted to get more funky, more French, as Raymond says. So
Actually, this is kind of mild. But you
it is
eat
very
hot,
mild. Yeah.
you can always eat the wine with that. The pre wine has a tendency as it ages to turn a darker color. When you turn a darker color,
Mhm.
it's got that acidity to the wine, and
I agree.
that's not always pleasant to
Yeah.
have. Where this is always, it's just gonna be a little bit funkier, but it's not as bad
That's pretty good.
as a brie can get.
Why does brie get that funkiness versus
Because it's
something
not a
like
white
this?
wine. It's a
Okay,
evolving
it's a
wine.
blooming wine, yeah.
It's got bacteria developed, and if they develop too long, they turn into
It's kind of sour.
something that is not sour, but kind of acidity to the wine.
How are we feeling about number 2? Are we ready to go to number 2?
I'm ready here.
Number 2, switch out, finish our 6. And then we're going to take you to Napa. We're going to Atlas Peak. Going far, high up. And we're going high up into the mountain. Like I said, we're going to take you to Atlas Peak in particular. And then we are also going to, cheese-wise, take you pretty much to Humboldt County. So, which is pretty far north as well. Pretty much redwood forest country territory, and lots of land.
Humboldt's known for lots of pot.
Exactly. Well, exactly. And so it is Humboldt County. So yeah, they're known for their marijuana production. So Cypress Grove Creamery always makes references to strands of marijuana and things like that. So just kind of like they make a play on the psychedelic, so to speak, of the 70s, which is pretty, quintessential California. Yes. So, in a nostalgic way for some of us more than others, probably.
But the
So, but it's a fun label you can see on it. How it's got the little tie dye and everything. So, but we'll talk about the cheese mix line first. So this is Acumen, and this is so I didn't really. Yes. So Acumen is was purchased they purchased their first vineyard, and this is another the next one that we're going to go to as well is basically the husband retired and was in this case I want to say he was also in tech and worked out of California, traveled around California, fell in love with being able to go to vineyards all the time, all around him. So, and wanted to make really good mountain Cabernet. So, and with where they are in Napa, they are not in the valley floor. So they are getting sunshine, but they're also getting fog blankets. So it's a very different fog blanket because they're higher up in elevation. And also because of that, they're at least 10 degrees cooler than they are down on the valley floor. So these are going to definitely be more of a cool climate varietals. They mostly grow Bordeaux varietals, so mostly Cabernet Sauvignon, Cab Franc, Petit Verdot, Merlot. I don't think that they grow any Malbec, but yep, they do. Of course they do. I take that back. And they grow Malbec, so they have all of the 5 Bordeaux varietals that they're growing right there. And they also purchased another vineyard 300 feet higher up Atlas Peak called the Acora Vineyard, and this one, Acora, means red diamond. And they named it that because actually they didn't. I don't think that they named it, but again, could be wrong because I was watching a video and she was talking about the naming of it and why it was called Acora Vineyard. And that is basically because it has this red kind of silty clay soil there. So it's very beautiful red. And so that's what their to is kind of like red diamond dust is almost like what it looks like. It feels like in your hands. So this is Merlot, 100% Merlot from that vineyard. And so it's beautiful. It is kind of a lot of, in my opinion, like watermelon and strawberry, like bright strawberry on the nose. Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful color as well. It is. I love rosés made out of Merlot. I'm a Merlot fan though, so. And it's just aged completely in stainless steel. It doesn't see anything like that. And I forgot to tell you, the last bottle was 12.5% alcohol. And this one, I want to say, is right around the same. No, it's not. It's 14.1. Wow, that's crazy. And you don't taste it at all. And I'm going to give that credit too. Again, it's cool climate and higher altitudes. So you're not getting that warm fruit bomb that you're going to get more so from the valley floor wines, which Napa is really known for. Don't get me wrong, they're very known, and there's delicious valley floor vineyards and wines out of Napa. But you do get, in my opinion, something that's a little bit more clear and more precise. As the farther up you go, you're the polar climates. So, because I feel like you just get you're getting lower yields, so you're getting more concentration in those grapes, and also the vines as well. And these are not young vines either. They are, I want to say that they were planted 30 years ago, really. So they're not old vines, but they're not young vines by any means either. So And then we paired this with the Cypress Grove purple haze.
Yeah. So the it's basically a shell, which is a goat cheese that hasn't been aged or washed. Or it's basically the first production of the birds. It's actually flavored with lavender and fennel pollen, not fennel seed, just the pollen, which is very aromatic. It's very expensive. It's almost like the second most expensive spice after saffron. And it's actually the pollen of the flowers of fennel. So they're not real big flowers and there's not a lot of,
Yeah.
but it's a very powerful flavor to it. They also make two other ones similar to that. One is called psychedelic, and it's dill with it, dill weed and dill pollen too. And then they have the one that is called Sergeant Pepper, and that's like spicy notes of cayenne, that kind of thing. So they all their cheese are goat cheese. They don't make any cow milk cheese. Their most famous one is, as far as I can tell, is Humble which is a ripened aged goat cheese with a center of vegetable ashes in the middle. And then it's get very creamy on the outside as it ages right under the skin of it. It's rubbed with ashes on the outside to help the cheese age. It's beautiful cheese. And beside that, they make two odd cheese. They make from goat milk too. They make a goat Gouda,
Yes.
and then it's really, really good. And they make a hard lamb cheddar, like with cheddar.
Lamb
Yeah, lamb chop, which is, those are big wheels of like 6 to 8 pounds. More like a Gouda type cheese. They're all very good. But this is the lavender is such a good flavor to go with the goat milk flavor, because goat milk has a little more funkiness and acidity than the cow milk. So it's nice and mellow out that acidity from the goat milk. It goes great with pretty much any white or rosé. I like it with Sauvignon Blanc a lot.
Yeah.
And
I've
but
never seen you drink a wine.
with a good
It's a rare
rosé.
one, yes.
What?
She said she's never seen you drink a white wine.
Yeah,
And I
with-
said
with
it's
goat
rare,
cheese.
but he does.
Always with goat
He does
cheese.
with goat cheese, yeah. He has his moments where you'll catch him. And it depends on the wine and it depends on the cheese. He
Like-
has his particularities.
Yeah, the Sauvignon Blanc is always for the goat cheese,
Yeah,
and the Muscadet is always for oysters and mussels. Because that's the way it is when I grew up. But I do drink one.
mhm. Yeah. I love the purple. I pair the purple haze with rosés a lot, but it really depends on the rosé.
So you can really test the fennel.
Yeah.
Yes, I
With
see.
this, yeah,
It's
this is what, I feel like that brings out the savoriness in that goat cheese for sure.
Well,
Because it's got that nice fruit sweetness
It's
to
almost
it.
the same type of flavor than the Pinot Noir has a lot.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
got that fennel
it makes it,
flavor.
brings it even more. In my opinion. Yeah.
Yeah, it brings nice acidity from the wine.
You guys are live in the said you guys are live in the house.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Yeah, when we used to do these, we never had anyone here with us. So now we've got a few friends with us here tonight, which we're very grateful for. And we promise that next month we'll have all of our technical difficulties figured
I
out.
think we figured it out.
Yeah, I think we figured it out too.
I wrote it
We
down.
will bring back. I will bring back. We did kind of. Sandra's going to be our producer for Learning to Flight moving forward, because she was the one who convinced me that we should bring it
I
back.
suggested it.
She suggested.
Actually,
And
a
she
partner
was
at-
pretty compelling.
She showed up. But then
And-
one of the owners actually showed up.
Yeah, and Jill and Chad too. We're like, yeah, we second that.
So
and
that when
others,
they're
so
probably
okay.
doing this Learning to Flight.
So we're bringing it back. We're just doing it the first Wednesday of every month, and we are kind of doing it in conjunction with our wine club, but not necessarily with ones from our wine club. So we featured California today because in July we're featuring California for the month for our wine club. Next month we're going to France, so we'll be taking you to France next month in August, since we're going to be going to France for the Olympics. So our wine club, which we just started, we basically, you can select 1, 2, 3, or 6 bottles of wine, and you come to our third Thursday tasting, and that's the third Thursday before the upcoming month. And so when you come to the third Thursday tasting, you'll get to taste all of the wines that we're presenting basically to you. You pick what you want, what makes the cut. We kind of pick from. We had a little bit of a delivery snafu today, so we had to kind of go back to the drawing board, and that meant for me going to my shelves. So these are not wine club wines for that reason. However, you will probably see them in our micro tastings during the month, because we also do a tasting every Thursday with our wine club for our wine club members, where the monthly focus is on one appellation. So it's California this month, it's France next month, it's Germany and Austria in September, and then it is Greece, I would say, in the Mediterranean islands in October. Then, or no, that was November, and then October.
Yep.
No, I don't remember either. We have it written down on our website.
That's
It's all
what we're
spelled out on our website. I'm not a human computer, unfortunately, working on that, but it is on our website. And basically, our micro tastings are our weekly Thursday tastings, and then that's when we break it down and we get more into sub appellations. Specific in this it's an AVA, so American Viticulture appellation. So versus I guess, well, we call them sub appellations in Europe. So
Sub-region.
yeah, sub-region. So that's pretty much what we're using each weekly tasting for, but we do a monthly as well. So we are picking 1 white, 1 rosé, and 1 red for Learning to Flight, and then we're going to pair those with Cheez-Its. And so we'll do this the first Wednesday of every month now at 6:30, just once a month. So we're here tonight.
Yeah, just.
Now we're
just
going
fun.
to do this. And so next month, I will make sure that I have slides and a whole presentation, and we'll kind of take you there virtually. We're going to also work on kind of hopefully like getting to interview some winemakers and winery owners and things like that throughout the months, and then kind of showing and asking questions. So if you have any questions that you would like us to ask winemakers, or anything you've just been curious about of the region, anything like that that you would like us to pass on, we will definitely do that as we continue evolving and growing together. So, all right, let's go to our number 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is the Bedlam, and this is a fun label, kind of along the lines of the Wabi Sabi fun, more of a, I guess I would say like a more modern, where you have some influence of our younger generation on the parents, so to speak. So, or younger generation making the wine themselves, as in the populace, the case of populace. So this is a blend, and this is predominantly from the Central Coast area, and they source. I'm sorry, I do have to refer to my phone because I didn't get to print out my tech sheet that Evan sent me. I apologize, Evan. All right, and I'm just going to tell you because it does actually tell me which vineyards they source from. So this
right?
is
A little acidic
No.
with a blue. I just
I
said
haven't
cheese
tasted
first.
you're not supposed to taste the cheese first. You're supposed to taste the wine first.
I don't have the glass.
She's hungry.
So you'll have a different experience. That's all. I mean, you're not supposed to. There's not really any rules, so to say, but it does help, in my opinion, to give you a context and a reference of what we're doing. So this is the Bedlam, and the Bedlam is going to be again French-inspired, Rhone-inspired. This is a blend of 50% Syrah, 35% Grenache, and 15% Petit Syrah. And this is their 2019 vintage. They only make 700 cases of this particular wine, and this was sourced from, let me tell you, the Rolf, Shell Creek, Zaca Mesa, and Shalom vineyards. And it is aged in 30% new French oak, no American oak. So I apologize. I got the tech sheet after I had done the notes. So there is no American oak in this at all. It's just all, it's 70% used French oak and 30% new French oak. And then that spent 21 months, so almost 2 years in the barrel. So, yeah, it says also that they do, for the Winemaker notes, it is sourced from 4 Central Coast vineyards where each site is picked at optimum ripeness determined by the taste, which is the phenolic ripeness after 2 days. So that's where they're checking the Brix levels, checking the Brix levels on a daily basis to see where their sugar's at. And then that basically tells us where their ripeness levels are in the grapes. And once they get to that magical Brix level, then that's when they harvest. So that's how it works in wineries, in vineyards. Brix. Brix is Brix. And that is your sugar level, basically. And so that is what's telling you that that grape, that it's ready to be picked and harvested. Basically, it's ripe and it's ready to go. It's at the optimum picking time. Because if you let that sit longer, that sugar is going to continue to build. You're then going to go into making a late harvest wine versus like that's literally what they call them because they got picked late. So, and that's what late harvest literally means. It's picked later in the harvest. And so they're just hanging on the vines longer. And so they're just getting more sugar and getting sometimes not bigger necessarily. Like more sugar doesn't mean that it's getting like a larger grape. The grapes usually just stay their size. It's more so like what's going on the inside. So, and then after 2 days of cold soaking, the lots are tested for the Brix, okay? The TA and the pH. The cold soak can last up to 7 days, during which pump overs are performed twice a day. After roughly 25 days on the skins, the wine is gently pressed into the tank over 24 hours, then gravity-filled into barrels where it remains for about 20 months with monthly topping. There is no racking and minimal SO2 additions. And no, they do as little sulfur as possible. So they really make this as more of a minimal intervention wine almost. And then blending trials are performed before the bottling and also takes place shortly after. So this was released in the spring of last year, which is pretty much when we got it. And we are going to be moving into the 22 vintage next because they did not make a 21 vintage of this. So
Yeah, because of the fire.
because of the fires, the smoke taint, things like that.
Probably would taste.
Yeah, so. It happened. You were there. And
So Bill said that he wished he could have been here,
you wished you could have been here too, Bill.
especially Jeannie.
We wish Jeannie could be here too. Tell her happy July 4th, and we're gonna miss her tomorrow.
Okay, so Jill says we both think this one has a smokiness to it. I said it reminded me of
It does.
church incense on the finish.
I can see that, like the frankincense and myrrh kind of, like.
Got a spoon on the nose.
It does. To me, I get like a lot of I totally. So Syrah for me always has a smokiness, a gaminess, kind of like a bacon quality almost to it. You know, like a bacon fat or smoked meats kind of quality. And so that's one of the things that I love about Syrah, but also sometimes don't like about Syrah if I'm on an empty stomach. Then I have a hard time drinking Syrah. Syrah to me needs food. It is a full-bodied, thick-skinned grape, and so it's got a lot of tannin, and so it's not for the faint of heart. It is not like a Pinot Noir whatsoever. It is the complete opposite spectrum from a Pinot Noir. So the acid is there, but it's not as high as a Pinot Noir. It's a juicier acid, in my opinion, and it's not as prominent at first. It's more on the finish that you get it. And it kind of like, for me at least, it kind of like causes my mouth to get watery, you know, like in a good way. And that's what I love about Syrah, is it literally makes me want to eat. It makes me salivate. It makes my mouth get juicy for food. And so I personally, I really wanted to do Point Reyes, and the wines that we were tasting them with from our wine club, we didn't really find a perfect match, in my opinion. And then we tasted this wine yesterday with our rep, a different rep, and I just absolutely loved this pairing today. They really like seeing it together.
When always blue cheese are kind of they kind of delicate to pair because they don't go with a lot of the less concentrated wine grapes. So this Point Reyes is actually made in California. That's their first blue cheese that they made there, and they make it from the cow milk. Then the farmer furnished to them from the area. They only use raw milk on this one, which will give you that extra creaminess to it, extra flavor. I think it's use a vegetarian rennet to settle. And it's beautiful. They also make another brew called the Bay Blue that is similar to that, but it's made with pasteurized milk. And, if you test them side by side, you can't really tell the difference. Now it's same type of mold they use and the French use in the Roquefort cheese, or then you use it in Stilton. So it's a pretty pungent mold, red mold, and usually it needs like this type of wine, like a Syrah, or then you go to a port wine, Madeira, and they usually like end of the meal kind of reds, and that's usually when you eat that cheese is right before you have dessert. So.
As dessert.
Yeah, you gave it.
This is my kind of dessert right here. Like, I was really wanting to end with this cheese because I just love the Point Reyes original blue.
And I would say try it without, but then try it also
Mm-hmm.
with big mustard on
Oh.
it, because fig always go real good with a blue flavor. It's very, it's kind of a marriage made in heaven. And usually, and beside that, walnuts, toasted nuts are real good with blue cheese too.
Mm-hmm.
Probably that type of blue cheese. So
They
I'm
make
gonna
me love each other more. You know?
I'm gonna try it.
Yeah.
Is mostarda MOS?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like, for me, the blue cheese, it brings out that dark, fruity fruit, but it also brings out like the, you do get that. That's why I wanted to know, like, what is the oak aging? I was having a really hard time finding the technical information on the winemaking, and so I'm glad that Evan sent that to me because that helped. Because I was like, there's got to be oak in this, like it's just too much, too full power for there not to be any oak. And I wasn't sure. It didn't seem like new American oak, but at the same time, it is. It's got that spicy, like it's got the spice. It's got
They bring a lot of spice
yeah.
up to the cheeses. Get
Mhm.
the spice and some acidity,
Definitely. The
which
acidity,
is needed.
to me, with the cheese, they bring out the acidity in one another in a good way. Yeah, they just make
Do
you
you want to
salivate.
comment? I can put on the live.
The thumbs up comment.
All right.
All of a sudden they got quiet.
So then, also, I wanted to let you know. So this picture here is the picture of the Atlas Peak vineyard. So that's Atlas Vineyard in the center of that back page, by the way. So you can see the fog rolling in. At the peak.
It's emotionally thrilling. You can put that
There you go.
Well, but Devin can say thumbs up.
Yeah. So that's pretty much our show. Now we're
Well, in California, I mean, coming from California, you always have, the morning and evening fog,
yes,
and then,
you were really 4 outfits a day.
no, what you do is you learn to layer, which
Yes.
nobody here knows how to do.
Well, we don't have to here. It's just hot from the moment you walk out your door.
Well,
and
but
from
it-
the moment you walk back in your door.
But when we have cold days that are gonna be,
Yeah.
you'll see folks
Yes.
who don't know how to
I
layer.
love to layer. So any excuse to layer, I'm there. So if I can, I will. But I'm oddball in that way here in Florida. So but yeah, so we are going to just keep on doing these, like we said, the first Wednesday of every month, and we'll kind of keep them fun and keep working on the technical parts of it. And you can join us here at our cellier, or you can join us virtually. You would just need to order online, and then you can either pick up your flight and take it home with you and do it from the comfort of your home. Or if you live nearby, like these guys do, you can walk here, come join us and hang out with us while we go live, and hang out with us when we're done being live. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
really up to you.
The lucky thing is there's enough wine and cheeses that we can do that for a lifetime.
Yeah.
We still want
We
one
know.
out. So that's part of the fun.
It is. It's a lot. So if we don't have any more questions.
So Jill and Chad, Jill said, thanks so much for doing this again. Jill said, we love learning to play. We did have a visitor who didn't flight. She just kind of followed along. I don't know if she's still on, but her name is Tiffany joined us and said, so fun. And I welcomed her in. We have Bill. Next time Bill has to bring Jeannie. Oh,
Well, we're doing France next time, so I mean,
That's gonna,
that's gonna be hard for us to pick one white, one rosé, one red. I'm not gonna lie. That to me is gonna be the most challenging part of it. And it usually is the most challenging part of it for me. Because I kind of just make Raymond go along with everything.
You said the first
That I
Wednesday.
pick. I'm not gonna lie. He's a good go along. He's like, I know about the cheese.
I mean,
He's been doing this for so
you
long.
can pick up anyone. Piece of-
You said the first Wednesday of every month.
Yes, the first Wednesday of every month, and we fight at 6:30. So, and yes, we have a friend who's wanting to say good nights. Hello and good night. She wants to come out and join too. I will. When we're done. Sandra logs us out and says good nights.
And then there's one more comment.
Okay. We're gonna keep drinking wine and cheese. Eating cheese.
oh, you don't.
We are closed. I'll do our best. We are closed tomorrow for July 4th. We are open now Tuesday through Saturday at 2 p.m. and we pretty much just close when the last person leaves. So, and for us, it's summertime, so we're slower during the weekdays. We're busier on the weekends. We always recommend, because we are still small in our loft, we always recommend making a reservation. We are on Open Table, so you can make a reservation via Open Table. You can also call us. We do limit our tables to 6 on Open Table, so if you have a larger party, we have room for you. We can fit groups of up to 30 in our private events. So just call us or email us. Our email address is cheers@muskwineloft.com. And you can order your flight pack for next month. I will put them available on our website on Musk Wine Loft and also on Musk Online. Basically, probably the week before, just so that we can not confuse, because we try to have these available throughout the month. But honestly, it really depends on how much wine we have left. So, I always recommend checking with us before you order online. If you're not flighting with us on our actual flight date, if you're wanting to do this later on in the month, I definitely recommend calling us before you purchase online, just to make sure that we do have all of the wines and cheeses and are able to fulfill your order. When you are doing it on time with the rest of us, we will of course be able to do that. So, and we would love to have you join us, whether it's here at our loft or in our cellier or virtually. And I think that's all, unless we have any more comments or questions.
No.
It's been lovely. Thank you for joining us. Good to see you guys.